lórí orílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá gbogbogbò.
Ẹ bá wa dá sí.
Ẹ̀yin ará mi ẹ súnmọ́ bí ẹ jẹ́ ká jọ pín.
Ẹ bá wa dá sí.
Yorùbá TV 247 ẹ bá wa pín.
In a disparaged position, he came from the behind. They are not happy now, but it won't matter. Justice will prevail and God will be with our president. And when you look at the health sector, the government is also trying. So what that is needed to be done now is for citizens to ask their governors to be accountable. Because if you know the amount of federal allocation that comes to each state, there's no any state that qualifies to be poor now.
Yoruba TV 247.
Buhari was a mistake for the nation.
Buhari was a mistake.
Yes, it was a mistake. I say it without apology. Because look at the rate of investment, but it was a pitfall for APC. Thank God we have someone who has come to salvage the system.
I say kudos to him. So you see, Tia Oba Soro Tabak Panumo. Now your advice to clergies, people like me, whom God have sent, but not suffer one. Àfàwọn tó lọ́rùn sọ fún ọ, wọ́n bá sẹ́ ìrú lè máa bà wọ́n o, ṣùgbọ́n tó lọ́rùn bá sọ fún mi tí mi bá sọ, à ń pààyàn sí ìtàn sọ̀rọ̀ sí.
Yes, the clergymen are supposed to be God's ambassadors. But the problem we have with Nigeria setup is that there are a lot of infiltration and compromise. Ordinarily, the reverends, they should be the mouthpiece of God.
Yoruba TV 247.
And just like you have said, you can see how he messed up himself because of the irresponsible press that he granted sometimes, I think last week, where he was exposing personal discussion. It is highly irresponsible, childish behaviors. Okay, you had a discussion with the president for that matter, not a public discussion. You now said that the president told me that I should go back to my state and organize a PC for me. It's a politics. If he asks you that you should do that, it's a matter of decision. You can say, oh, no, I can't leave my party. The black sheep of APC. Why do I say so? He came to governance and lost control. How could you be a president and you are not within your guard? Look at what Malami and Co were doing. Of course, before Abba, what's the name of this? His former, is it not Abba? I've forgotten the name now. He's the chief of staff then. Yeah. He was in charge. To the extent that even your wife cannot come to see you at will until your chief of staff approves it.
Gbogbo ẹ̀yin èèyàn pátápátá lórílẹ̀-èdè ayé mo kí yín. Ẹ kú ọdún o. Ẹ kú àlàjá ọdún. Torí ọjọ́ méjì tó kù, mo nígbàgbọ́ pé a máa fayọ̀ lájà. Àti ètè lájà lọ́sọ̀ ọjọ́ Sunday tá ti ṣe lánàá. Mo rí pé gbogbo nǹkan láti mú wá sí ibi ìpamọ́ fún ọdún 2025 kó máa gbé lọ. Then a fẹ́ wọnú ọdún 2026. We must get it right. Gbogbo apárápátá gbọ́dọ̀ get it right. Àwọn kùdìẹ̀kùdìẹ̀ tó ṣẹlẹ̀ lọ́dún 2025 àfẹ́ kó bá wa wọnú ọdún tuntun. Mo kí yín lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí pé ẹ kú ọdún, ẹ kú yèdùn. Lórúkọ Jésù Kristi yóò dára fún wa. Mo ní a public analyst and a political instructors tí ó wà ní àárín wa níbí. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́, ẹ dárúkọ yín fún gbogbo Nàìjíríà.
Mo kí gbogbo ọmọ Nàìjíríà pé a kú ọdún ilé lóko. Orúkọ mi ni Clement Akinagbe. Mo dẹ̀ jẹ́ ọmọ Ondo State, ọmọ Nàìjíríà náà.
Oh, thank you very much. We are going to miss our words in both in Yoruba and in English. Torí pé most of our ọmọ Yoruba ọ̀pọ̀ tó ti jáde kúrò nílé tó ti lọ sí ọ̀nà jíjìn àti máa sọ ọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá yẹn dánìkan sọ kò rọrùn bẹ́ẹ̀, but a máa fi èèbó díẹ̀díẹ̀ a máa fi sí láàárín. Lẹ́nu ọjọ́ méjì yìí àwọn kan pariwo pé Tinubu ṣiṣẹ́, Tinubu ṣiṣẹ́, Tinubu ṣiṣẹ́. From my own spiritual area, mo ti rí tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ wípé Tinubu máa gbìyànjú, ṣùgbọ́n àwọn tó jẹ́ ìsọ̀gbè fún wọn ò ní jẹ́ kí iṣẹ́ ẹ̀ yọ. He will try his best, but they will not allow his work to, to come out with flying color. And that period, I gave a prophecy that he should beware of El-Rufai of Kaduna and some of them. So like that, which I believe it played out later. Now, àwọn cabals kan wà nínú ìjọba Tinubu fúnra ẹ̀ tí ò fẹ́ kó ṣàṣeyọrí. So, àwọn sọ pé Tinubu ṣiṣẹ́, ó ṣiṣẹ́. Iṣẹ́ tó ń ṣe kò dé grassroots. Ìyẹn ló jẹ́ kí n fẹ́ béèrè lọ́wọ́ ìdíje arákùnrin mi pé wá àwọn nǹkan wọ̀nyí ṣé ẹ̀yin rí bẹ́ẹ̀ àbí kò rí bá ṣe sọ.
Tá bá wo bí gbogbo nǹkan ṣe ń lọ, ọ̀rọ̀ kan wà, they will always say that the fact speak for itself. Nǹkan tá ń rí láàrin ìgboro àti gbogbo nǹkan tó ń lọ compared to what used to be, it will be self-contradictory to say the president is not performing. I agree with you that there is need for monitoring, that some saboteur might be there. And the president always tell the people that your condition, as from your government. The president has been emphasizing it, especially during the palliative era. He used to tell the citizenry that if things are not going well with you, ask your governor. There is a reason for it. The the president is not just emphasizing that. So the president is performing seriously because you look at it from the reform aspect. Every society, before you can take off successfully, it will come from the ideological stage to a stage that it will continue to come to fruition. The reforms are starting to bear fruit, and if I should give an example, for a very long time now, this is the first time that you will be having a Christmas celebration like this and people don't sleep in the filling station. It's an achievement. It is the system that is working. So the president is working.
Thank you very much, my guest. Sometimes I said this in my prophecy that he will try his best, but the people at the grassroots, if they don't feel his impact, they will still insist that he's not working.
Yes.
Today, so many privy things were happening, and we are seeing it, we are hearing. We could see it on the social media, read it on articles. The type of work or the job the president is doing, but yet it hasn't reflected in the grassroots. For instance, in Oyo State, Fayose said something yesterday or a few days ago, while he was exposing all the ill thoughts and the poor performance of Mr. Governor Seyi Makinde in Oyo State. I don't know, maybe it's one of the political sabotage we are seeing today. Though I don't think Seyi Makinde is PDP, right?
Yes.
So something happened in the past which fire was exposed. I think you heard about it. You can speak further on this.
Yes, the problem that many of these politicians are having is that when we are talking about opposition is part of governance, but it must be a responsible opposition. For people like Seyi Makinde, they just consider themselves as a detracting opposing group. If you are a governor of a state and the president is doing his best, there's nothing wrong for you to say, the president has done this, even though if you are in different political parties. But the error is that he's thinking that as a PDP governor, I don't have to praise the president of another political party. And just like you have said, you can see how he messed up himself because of the irresponsible press that he granted sometimes, I think last week, where he was exposing personal discussion. It is highly responsible. Childish behaviors. Okay, you had a discussion with a president for that matter, not a public discussion. You now said that the president told me that I should go back to my state and organize a PC for me. It's a politics. If he asks you that you should do that, it's a matter of decision. You can say, no, I can't leave my party, or I will see what I will do about it. You did not say anything. You now came on television, public television for that matter, and said that the president was saying that I should go to my state and make sure that I organize a PC. And the question is, you requested 50 billion naira from the federal government to help those people that were victimized during the explosion in Bodija.
Oh, in Bodija?
Yes, 50 billion you requested from the federal government. The federal government unanimously, graciously approved the money. And you refused to disclose it to the state. You came back to the state and told the state that you got 4.5 billion naira
from the federal government.
Until yesterday, when Fayose released the document, now your aides came up to say that it was not 50 billion, that it was 30 billion that was released.
15
Can you
and
see
30.
how ridiculous?
Is this
So where is the 25.5 billion balance that was never disclosed to the people? So you can see how irresponsible, baseless, and highly wicked that the governor could be. So if you have people in your state that they were victimized by a natural disaster, and the government can release, let's agree that it was 30 billion that was released, and you now in good conscience release 4.5 billion, leaving 25.5 billion for yourself. What level of wickedness can be more than that? So who is working and who is not working? And now, if you recall, during this palliative time, all the palliative that were released to your state, Seyi Makinde repackaged them in your bags logo, all the rice. Yes, these were facts that were in the public. He repackaged all of them and put on your state logo, that pretending that this is what the state government is doing. Now you kept that 25.5 billion naira for yourself to be used for presidential election, and you are now criticizing the government. So who is wicked and who is performing? But the truth of the matter is that it's a common saying that no matter how far lies has moved, truth will caught up with it sooner or later. But I thank God that karma is smart this time around. So Seyi Makinde is highly responsible by that act, and I still concur with the president that the Oyo State EGG should ask him, where is the remaining 25.5 billion that you have agreed? In the constitution, I think Evidence Act 2011, section 123 says that fact accepted need not proved. When you admit the fact, there's no need to prove it any longer. They have agreed now that they got 30 billion, which were never being disclosed to the citizen. So then we can take it off from there that if you accepted that 30 billion were given, then we can still doubt that it is possible what Fayose said, that it was 50 billion that was released, that is possible. So the president is highly responsible, is performing, and I like his style. When he does what he wanted to do, he will leave the society to. But I will still encourage the president to follow up his all his largesses. He should follow it up to see that it is being used for the purpose that they were being made. And you recall somebody was challenging Makinde recently that he have bought all the prime areas in your state for himself. When he did get the money, he was saying it, on national television, I think last week, that when Wiki was in the law school, I made my first $1 billion naira. And so what? Who knows? By this crooked way, maybe you made that money.
Oh.
So,
You see,
The nation needs and the citizens they need to ask questions.
Yeah. And that is why you see it comes to my own table. Sometimes I blasted him, Seyi Makinde, I even said I said he's a bastard. Why I said so was that you saw these miners that kept explosives in hidden places in Oyo State. As the first citizen, the first chief security officer of a state, you say you did not know that miners were in your in your state. Those are the lapses we're talking about. And that was why I called him bastard then. If you look at some of my interviews in those days, I said he was a bastard. I knew him right when he was in Udom Street in Port Harcourt, while I was in Port Harcourt region. So I knew how irresponsible he is. For him, those people that were killed by the explosive that happened in Oyo State.
Yes.
Which he said he wasn't aware that this men of the underworld were in his state.
Yeah.
It shows how irresponsible
Callous.
he is and how callous he is. So it will be of my opinion that anything that needed to be discussed this time around, we're heading into a new year. I would want everyone to speak up and address issues where necessary. Sometimes I give a prophecy that President Tinubu should nominate committee or form a committee that will look into any money disbursed to the local government, to the state, and so on and so forth, so that there will be what? Accountability. And this money will get to the grassroots. These are part of it. I believe you heard about that discussion, that prophecy there, that he should come up with a formidable ideas by having groups, monitoring groups that will monitor the money disbursed so that it will get to the grassroots. Those are the things that is happening. If you could pocketed, what they call it, 25.5 billion
out of 30 billion.
Out of 30 billion naira that were sent to the masses, as you have called them. No, it's quite uncalled for. Now, if we are to look at it carefully, 2025 has played its own culture, and we are looming into the next year. What are your expectations from the government?
Yeah, I have a very high expectation because, just like we have said, I might be tempted sometimes to want to think that Tinubu is the new Messiah for Nigeria. You know, some people might some people might want to see the statement as a too wholesaling. But the fact is that just imagine if all these other dramatists that I've been talking about governing the state are unfortunately or accidentally being elected wrongly. What do you think that it will become of the nation today? Look at all these painstaking decisions that Tinubu is taking. Look at it from the educational sector, because when you want to develop a nation, the first and the most formidable way to do is to invest in your educational system. There's what we call net fund now in Nigeria for students that are indigent. You just apply for it online. The statistics there, we are talking about millions of students that are taking that money, and you are paying back after you have graduated.
Wow.
That is how to help the system. You recall that during this Christmas, petrol was sold at 739 naira by MRS.
MRS, yes.
Look at the trajectory, how the system is pulling, the marketing forces is bringing the prices down. We have a high expectation that somebody will just say that this is what we want to do, and there will just be given potencies that are not backed up by fact. Then look at it from the insecurity sector. Recall what had happened on the 25th of this month.
Yeah.
You know, the government said it critically that it was a joint effort by United States of America and Nigeria to strike those people down.
But many people were opposing it.
Yes, because I told you about irresponsible oppositions. Look at, okay, for instance, Peter Obi and Atiku in their own enclave. They have never made any statement since all these bandits have been killing people every day, day and night. They've never made any public statement condemning their acts. When somebody will go to the church to worship, they will come there to shoot them, take them to the forest, ask for billions of naira from them. These dramatists, they never made any public announcement, any public statement. But immediately the government worked with another state to quash them. They came up with frivolous excuses that it will determine or that it will affect the sovereignty of Nigeria. Where is your sovereignty when you are not safe? So, and of course, we continue to see their stupidity many times that there is no country that have absolute security. During the COVID-19, could you stop COVID-19 from coming to your nation? Then why do we have international rapport? Through who? World Health Organization. You know, Hague, we still go to Hague for international dispute to be resolved. So there's no any nation that has absolute sovereignty. And when we are talking about the life of people, and the country is already on his knees, that they are unable to face the insecurity problem, and there is a synergy, you know, to work with another nation to crash them down. If these people are not sympathizers of these evildoers, how can you now make a statement that US action can tarnish or that can affect our sovereignty? The question is, where is our sovereignty if we are not safe? Where will be our nation if the bandits, if they can really come to the town, rapport with rulers of a community, you know. So if there's anything we need to do is to fight them to finish. Recently, you know, one of the Nigerians that I hate to fight is IBB, but mistakenly he said something that was positive recently. He said Nigeria should not negotiate with them, that they should finish them.
Yeah.
And that is the truth. So whatever means we can use to decimate them, either internationally, locally, or otherwise, even spiritually, we should use it so that we can be at peace. So the year 2026 is coming with a lot of opportunities, a lot of hopes. You know, one of the fears of Nigeria is about the tax that the government is about to talk about by 2026, that is expected to take off by 1st of January. You know, the world over, every nation that we develop through tax. And if you look at the wisdom in the structure of the Tinubu tax, you will give it to the man that is highly intellectual, cerebral. The Nigeria tax structure is to husband wealth from the wealth, the rich people, and leverage it for the poor. If you don't earn up to 800,000 naira, you are not going to pay the tax. But when you earn above that, you pay it. If you buy fuel in the petrol station, if you pay little tax, you know, to feed our country, there's nothing bad in it. Of course, it's only the people that can afford it that the government will take it from. So, from that task end, we look forward to infrastructural revival. From the educational set with the NEDFORD, we are hoping that more of our students, our children, will be educated. Then from the security, you recall that the president said that another 4 helicopters had been received in the course of days, and there are surveillance everywhere. The bandits, they are scattered all over now, and you can see the victories that our security structures they are making the recent time, because the president was bold enough to crack down the hegemony, the powers of these evil cabals. You know, the bandit will be at the right side, they will give them instruction to run to the left side. At the war front, you recall those four soldiers that were caught martial. Yeah. They asked them to stop. Even on the war front, I'm shooting somebody is shooting me, and you are commanding me that I should stop, that I should not shoot. So those people went up. The president was annoyed by it, but because it's already the military rule in a disparate position, It came from the behind. They are not happy now,
Yeah.
but it won't matter. Justice will prevail and God will be with our president. And when you look at the health sector, the government is also trying. So what that is needed to be done now is for citizens to ask their governors to be accountable. Because if you know the amount of federal allocation that comes to each state, there's no any state that qualifies to be poor now. But I believe that EFCC is watching. Like Seyi Makinde now that was martyred this way, is still enjoying impunity now. But sooner or later, it will join the like of Igigi and Co, where they are supposed to be. Because it is wickedness. You, a single person, to pocket 25.5 billion, and you are accusing that government that government is irresponsible. Just imagine. So when you give 4.5 billion to thousands of people, how much are they going to distribute that it will help them? But imagine that the money was well distributed. They will be restored back to better position even than what they were before. So this is what is happening in every state. And the citizens should ask questions, but definitely 2026 is going to be a great year for Nigeria.
Thank you very much, my brother. Now we still want you to throw a glimpse of a little word to the government, to the president himself, how he should mandate anything he disburses from the federal level to the local level. He should monitor it. I want you to throw a little.
Okay, yes, ordinarily the government structure have all these monitoring structures. But like you have said, sir, I think the president needs a more political will to activate those machineries so that they can function. Because it will be of no use for you, just like you have said, to release money for a purpose. And even the people at the grassroots will not feel it. Yeah. The feedback will be that you are not performing. So I want to advise the president to be stubborn with his idea, just like as he used to be unbending, and to be focused like as he used to be, and to step up monitoring and accountability sessions to make sure that this money are utilized accordingly.
58 point digits trillion is to be used for this. I mean, it's to be borrowed from is it UAE? If I'm not getting it well, but I believe he was to borrow some money again and again. Why this borrowing?
Well, why I'm not saying that it's not true. I'm not conversant with that fact, but borrowing is part of governance. You know, world over, the United States of America once borrowed from United Kingdom, once borrowed from China, like that. And even in our microsystem, we have seen many organizations that will borrow money, to launch a business. And at the end of the day, they will pay off their loans and they will be better for it. So if government needs to borrow money to achieve its aims and objectives, it is good. There's nothing wrong about it. But where the problem is we must be mindful of corruption. So that when we borrow, it must be used for that purpose. Not that we borrow and use it for other irresponsible acts. But borrowing is part of governance.
Yeah, but we are looking at it at this borrowing. Buhari borrowed without accountability. Till today, imagine only one person acquire properties worth 212.8 billion in person of Malami when he was AGL. Can you see that? This is madness. Why in this APC? I know you are APC.
Yes,
member.
Yes, in every society, we tend to meet somehow, even in our family, like in your family. Not every one of us have the same character. Like your extended family now, there might be somebody that is Akin Gulugbe. You are a man of God, highly responsible, and you have been making your impact all over. So perhaps there is somebody now that is out of the system, who is also an Akin Gulugbe, who is misbehaving. That cannot be enough to summarily say that Akin Gulugbe is irresponsible. That is why we have the concept of black sheep. Buhari was a black sheep of APC. Why do I say so? He came to governance and lost control. How could you be a president and you are not within your guard? Look at what Malami and Co were doing. Of course, before Abba, what's the name of this? His former, is it not Abba? I've forgotten the name now. He's a chief of staff then. He was in charge. To the extent that even your wife cannot come to see you at will until your chief of staff approves it. So Buhari was a mistake for the nation.
Buhari was a mistake.
Yes, it was a mistake. I say it without apology. Because look at the rate of investment, but it was a pitfall for APC. Thank God we have someone who has come to salvage the system. What the president is doing should be appreciated. And I want to urge Nigerians to cooperate with Tinubu. Tinubu understands the fact that Buhari administration messed up a lot of things.
But he said
money were borrowed and embezzled.
He said he will commence from where he stopped.
Yes.
That's the continuity of that failure.
No, he did not say that he's going to work on his programs. Okay. I will start from where you stop. Everybody that is a successor, you cannot decimate you must start from where the person starts. Of course, he's going to hand over some document to you, and you start from there. Sebi, when Buhari was there was subsidy. When Tinubu came in on the assumption of office, he said bye-bye to subsidy. He still started from there. So that to say that he will start from where he stopped does not mean that he's going to continue his program. And if you look at what the president is doing now, they are antithetical to what Buhari used to do. They are not the same. If we continue to mention them, the way Tinubu is approaching security, is it the way Buhari approached it? No. The way Tinubu is approaching reform. Look at the local government autonomy. Though the governors are trying to play it down now, but I can assure you, immediately after his re-election, because Tinubu is also a wizard, he's very wise, immediately after his re-election by God's grace, because we believe that he's going to be re-elected, notwithstanding all these jokers. They don't know what to do. They are noisemakers, and Nigerians know. Because if you are criticizing, you must have alternative. Criticism without alternative is a noise.
Many may have their alternatives in common, not to be exposed for the present regime, not to, to...
No, patriotism is that you must provide solution. If you say that you have an idea that can help your nation and you are keeping it to your heart, that is some patriotism. Patriotism is doing everything to help your nation. So how are we going to know that they truly have idea if you don't have alternative? You suggest, remember during the time of Awolowo, when Awolowo was criticizing the federal government, whatever he criticized, we say these are the options. Like Bola again. Not that you just come up and you say, oh, this is not good, this is not good. Okay, if these things are not good, what are the available options that are there? So, to say that I have my idea but I don't want to let people know it now, it should be a crime for you. Because everybody should come on the table. Roosevelt says that I claim my, is it Roosevelt, one of the American presidents, he said that if I claim my premises and you claim your premises, he said that the whole community will be clean. If you are a clergyman, from the pulpit, you affect the nation. If you are a medical doctor, from the medical setting, you affect the people. If you are in a commerce, buy and sell. So that is how to develop a nation. You cannot wholesomely develop a nation. But you say that I keep my ideas to, how do I know that we have the idea in the first place?
In most cases, in another way around, where we see things that are wrong and we try to speak it out, even from the pulpit, we are afraid of being tackled with, by the government, by the regime, because it's like they are clamping down on every positive speaker that is speaking against what they are doing. Because you want to come up with a policy that is unknown to people, and you see people that are suffering in the grassroots. We have to mention it. It's not everything that is going on in my area that Tinubu is represented. Even though he has a local government chairman, he has a councillor who was supposed to be, watch eyes to him. They are not doing it enough to enable people that they are governing, to keep them away from suffering. The suffering and the sufferness is too much in the grassroots. How would you relate this? And how would you advise the government? He says go to your governor. Today there is autonomous. The local governments are autonomous. They are not accountable to the government or taking their resources from allocation from the state governor anymore. But the allocation is set to them straight. Today we're not supposed to be seeing all this road untarred.
Yes, I have to thank you, sir. The thing is that it is said that the local government are autonomous now, but in the recent, there are games that are going on by the governors.
Okay.
I made both to say that most of the governors are yet to really give them the autonomy. What they do is that when the money is paid, because those people were really their cronies, they mandated them to pay some money back, leaving residue for them. Many of them are not people that are capacitated, that are elected. So some of them will just bring a rabble-rapsa, maybe a jobless man, to be the chairman of local government. So someone who has not been earning up to 100,000 before, and you say, okay, every month, take 4 million and return the whole money back to him. They still think that is successful. But it's a system. We believe that it will be improved. The local government autonomy is not functioning now.
Why?
I meant both to say it.
Why?
Because of the gang up and politics.
So that shows they are
the-
still
but
cabals in the system.
Yes, but
That's why
the president.
That's why I said you should
The
advise
president is wise.
president.
Like I've said.
Okay.
In a political system like Nigeria own, the governors, they are very powerful. So, and if you confront them too much now, to make sure that they stop their ease, which is necessary, they might gang up against you and do what? And rock your boat. But for a wiser person, just like Yoruba will say, pé kì í ṣe ọ̀nà kan la fi ń pa ẹja. You can use hook, you can use chemical, you can use net, you can use basket. The president knows what to use. He knows it. When we get to the bridge, we cross it.
Or the other day.
So if the president gets the re-election, which is eminent by God's grace, I mark it, you will see that there will be full autonomy.
Okay.
Yes. So that is the problem. However, the local government system is highly comatose. There is need to step up activities. But like I've told you, many of them suffer from capacity build-up. And that is how it used to be. But as the system continues to mature, as citizens continue to see some lapses, they will be changing their decision. So when you have people who knows their right from left in a position of authority, it is easier to succeed than when you bring somebody who does not know his right hand from the left hand. So the advice to government is to sustain the policies and be focused. With time, everything will be in order. And like you have said concerning the men of God speaking from pulpit, you mentioned it before, that maybe they will be arrested or they will be clapped down and all that.
Anyway, I'm
You know,
afraid
there
of
is
speaking of the truth.
no,
What's wrong?
they shouldn't be afraid.
You see, from my own area,
okay.
from my own perspective, I was in a meeting with clergies mentioning what should be done, what they should speak to power, the truth they should speak to power. Unfortunately, you could see one or two people from the gathering of the shepherds were opposing it. Me ma le jẹ́ kó wá gbé mi o, mi le jẹ́ kó wá gbé pẹpẹ mi o, mi le jẹ́ kó wá. You see all these things. It's because of the clapping down on the truth was what made such people, to come up with that idea. If not that we are bold and God send us, tí Ọlọ́run ò bá rán wa láti sọ, we will not. I believe you might have heard me severally. I will even speak to Tinubu if he does it wrong. I will tell him he has done it wrong. And what I will be expecting from him is to check and recheck and do all the balancing to make sure that things goes well. But in a situation whereby mo rántí nígbà táwọn níwèé ìròyìn kan bá mi bí mo pariwo tó mo ní Olúwa fi hàn mí pé ìyàn bọ̀ already ebi ti wà lórí tábìlì kò sóúnjẹ fún àwọn ọmọ mo ké gbàjarè ẹ̀ síta ọjọ́ kẹta bí kẹrin ní Tinubu pariwo tó disburse 15 billion pé kó fi kó èrè àwọn oúnjẹ díẹ̀díẹ̀ kan kó wọn wọlé irú àwọn àgbàdo àwọn so kan kó wọn wọlé gbà yẹn. I say kudos to him. So you see, tí a ò bá sọ̀rọ̀ tá a bá panu mọ́, now your advice to clergies, people like me, whom God have sent, pé lọ sọ fún wọn. Àfàwọn tó lọ́rùn sọ fún ọ, wọ́n bá sẹ́ ìrú lè máa bà wọ́n o, ṣùgbọ́n tó lọ́rùn bá sọ fún mi tí mi bá sọ, à ń pààyàn sí ìtàn sọ̀rọ̀ sí.
Yes, the clergymen are supposed to be God's ambassadors. But the problem we have with Nigeria setup is that there are a lot of infiltration and compromise. Ordinarily, the rebels, they should be the mouthpiece of God. But you will discover that many of them have become more or less like traders.
And politicians.
Yes, and politicians. So when you are being compromised, it will be difficult for you to speak to the power that be. That is one. Then two, you must be factual. I'm very sorry to mention that like Prophet Ayo, I've forgotten his name now. He's also an acclaimed prophet.
Prime Minister.
Okay, yes, Prime Minister. When you see a situation where someone says that he's a prophet and is giving a contradictory, prophecies here and there, it calls for question. There are some pastors that are speaking. I listen to a prophet, Marcus, Tibet, Reverend Lubaka. Those people, they are still speaking, and most times they will be beating their chest that let them ask. They are factual. But when you say, okay, this footballer that want to pray, God told you that they will not win, and they will go and win. You will say that this person, God says that he will not be president, and he will be sworn in, and you will later, God is straightforward, and God is not confused. So most of the prophets, I advise them that if they know that God did call them, there's nothing funny that, okay, I know. I appreciate him. There was a time I met a man. He's also a shepherd. They said, are you a prophet? He said, no. He said, I'm not a prophet. I'm a shepherd. He's a celestial man. Most celestial shepherds, they are also prophets. He said, I'm a shepherd. He said, are you not a prophet? He said, I'm not a prophet. But when you look at a situation when everybody wants to claim to be prophet, and God is not more. If God calls you, even though if they come to arrest you because of what you have said, God will vindicate you.
Yes.
Because it will come out to be the truth, and in fact, it may be where your popularity will start from. I remember some prophecies that Obaka gave them. They came to fruition. But when you see people that are always talking, you know, God doesn't speak in Amis.
Yeah.
So if they are talking football, you say God speaks to you, you say something, it doesn't come to one. During politics, you say God speaks to you. You remember recently that Prime Minister, you really know, was accused by someone that was saying that he said that he should pay maybe 150 million. That he said that the person said, you asked me to give 150 million for you to pray for me for election. A governor. He now replied the governor that 150 million is not enough for me to buy my shoe. Look at that carnality. So if you buy 150 million shoes, you mean that there are not many people in your church that are still employee. So a prophet so called by God should be bold. If he hears from God direct, he should ask for confirmation. When God confirms it, he should say it. If they arrest him, that is where his glory will come out from. But if you pose, you'll be messed up. That is it. This one brings to notice, this is Chris Okafor. You know this simply?
Yeah.
Pastor Chris Okafor.
Yeah.
You know, look at that. Because God is God. You impregnate somebody in your church. That lady came out this morning to mention that he was impregnated. A chorister in the choir. That is not this Doris. You kneel down on the pulpit, begging that Doris should forgive you, that congregation should forgive you, hiding under the precept that forgiveness is of God. But forgiveness that God is talking about is not for you to be forgiven to continue crying. It's after genuine repentance from your heart with the intention to forsake it, God can forgive you. This morning, another person came out with a child that they attempted to kill her. And if you look at the baby, you know. So, he's now saying that it's ready for restitution. That is, if there are other ladies that have offended, that I'm ready for restitution. And we are talking about 7 women now, allegedly, that have children for you. So we are in a climb where a lot of people that God don't call are parading themselves. So that is why many of them, they can't talk, because the governor will even tell them that shut up, because they come to their houses to beg for the Bible says that whom he called,
He chooses.
he chooses. And
Those
those
he
he
chooses
chooses
is glorified.
glorified. God cannot call everybody and mess up the person.
That's it.
That is my belief.
Thank you very much. My people, thank you very much. We are having a heart-to-heart talk with Mr. Makinde Clement. He has spoken very well. You know, he has said a lot of things. Conclusively, the people of God, you have all heard from the horse's mouth, like you all know. And to me, I will always speak the truth. And I believe the truth is what will prevail at long run. If lies runs 100 miles, in a moment, the truth will overtake it. So let's see how it goes. As we are heading into the new year, 2026, prepare yourself for the race. With what God has exposed to me, we need prayer. We need to pray for ourselves, individually, collectively, as a family, as a church, and as a national. Let us pray very well. The systems will step on toes. Anybody who will make it or do it well must step on toes. I will only energize them, the government, to what? To come up with
good policies that will drive the mind of every individual positively and place them in a good position and condition. Caruso said that any policy that is not affecting the common man in the street is not a good one. And I want you all to understand this as well. You speak up where necessary, speak truth to the power, and let them understand so that they will not become what? They will not be overzealous in all they are doing. To me, as a person, I believe in the truth, and I will always walk by the truth. And where necessary, one day, truth will prevail. So, my guest, thank you very much for coming. I appreciate your coming. We call you and you answer. It's a pleasure. I thank you so much, and I pray that we will witness many more of years on earth in the name of Jesus. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. As I go, I will appeal to Nigerians to support the government, and I want us to enter the new year with a high optimism, because we have better days ahead. Let's not go to the new year with depression. No matter the situation now in the country, we can always wish that better days ahead. So I want to wish you Happy New Year in advance, and our country will be the best in Jesus' name. Thank you for this evening.
Thank you very much.
Yorùbá TV 247 ẹ bá wa pín.